Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Minecraft Education Game Design and Coding Challenge. My name's Nathan Richards. I'm going to take you through each of the stages of this competition. So let's first of all start off with talking about the software that you're obviously going to need. So you will need access to Minecraft Education, and you'll need access to some sort of presentation tool like PowerPoint. Now, if you need more information about how to access Minecraft, that is available here on the website where you can check to download or check if you have access to the educational software itself. Now, teams have to be made up of 3 to 5 players. The more you have, kind of the more diversity and experience that you can possibly bring to this competition. And just here are some examples of maybe some of the different roles that students can take on as part of the game. Couple of things to keep in mind is that we can only use what is available to us inside the Minecraft education software itself when you're building out this creation. So any type of block or any type of structure that is not normally or typically available in the Minecraft education edition basically can't be snuck in. You need to stick to what's available in this version. We also want you to be creative. You need to create something that's kind of new and unique. So there is no copying of other games and trying to pass them off as your own. Make sure, of course, like at any competition, that you play fair, you be nice. If we do get any type of report of inconsiderate or unkind behavior, we may ask you to leave the competition. So, as I said, it's made up of stages, and this one has 5 stages in it. The very first part is the learn stage, and that is supported by the learn to code with commands program. So, as a part of registering for this, you will have or you are getting access to the full learn to code with commands program because slash commands is one of the accepted coding platforms or languages, I guess you could say, that we will accept in this competition. So you may be completely new to slash commands. So basically, this program will set everything out for you. You may have students that are already seasoned professionals or have lots of experience in slash commands, but this will kind of really help to bring together, well, how do we use those to build and design really great gaming experiences, essentially. Now, we do accept other coding platforms. I'm going to talk to you about that very, very shortly. But let's first talk about the theme. So there are 2 themes depending on whether you are primary or whether you're secondary. So essentially, primary schools, we're asking you to build out like a parkour style obstacle course. Now, there is your requirement there, the very first one. It needs to be a fast paced game, but do keep in mind that you need to bring in some form of coding or slash commands into it, which basically provide challenges or obstacles for players along the way. So, choices that may need to be made or things that you may need to avoid. If you don't, another event will happen. I'm sure you will come up with lots of your own amazing ideas as to what you could do in this space. So it's not just a typical kind of run game. There do need to be challenges along the way. Secondary schools, we're asking you to kind of build out like a journey or a quest game, but it needs to have various levels. Now, how many levels is up to you because it really, well, obviously, it needs to be more than one, but it really depends on how you sell this game, or what's the complexity of each of the levels. The levels may be really simple, and so there may be multiples of them, or they might be quite complex, and there may be fewer of them at the same time. So in this stage, as I said, there are 3 kind of coding languages or platforms that we will accept as a part of it. So you can use slash commands, which is what uses command blocks in the game. We do accept that because when you really kind of stop and look at how you explain, write, and understand, it is essentially using English as a coding language, but it's highly visible because you have to build it out in command blocks. I will give you a hint here though. Good use of command blocks in Minecraft games are normally hidden. So they're not normally things that you can see. The second one is, of course, block coding. And these examples on the screen, I'm going to show you one more in Python in a second, it all do exactly the same thing. So there are some times that you can do something like this, where when someone's placing a block down and they're being given an item, that can actually be achieved across all three coding platforms. So slash commands, block coding, and Python. However, there are certain things that slash commands can do that block coding and Python cannot, and vice versa. So really kind of stop and think about what are the experiences that you want. You are also able to embed both, but you will need to provide or show that in your presentation. So as I also said, Python is also available. However, the Learn to Code with Commands program only covers slash commands and block coding. It doesn't cover Python. So if you're going to do Python and you know that your students will need assistance in learning Python, we heavily suggest that this is done by someone who already has experience in teaching it. In saying that, because we have the block coding side of it, you can easily convert that to Python if you ever need to see what it looks like. In here, in this stage 2, which is essentially our kind of our prepare and start to develop phase, is the judging criteria. So the judging criteria is broken up into these four areas, or these four criterias, and this is what we'll be looking for. And each criteria is weighted differently, with obviously coding proficiency being worth the most. The reason for this, keep in mind, we're not necessarily marking your game. We're actually marketing your presentation or your pitch. Because what you have to do is that you have to convince us that you have built a game worthy of publishing, which leads us on to stage 3, where you need to actually physically create it and code it out. Now, we will provide you with what we call a void world. And essentially, it's just a very basic platform that you can expand and make as big or smaller as you want, but it is in the void. And quite often, they're quite useful because void worlds help to reduce lag in games. However, you can actually choose any Minecraft education world. So, any world that you can download from inside the Minecraft software, or any world available on the Minecraft education website. Now, why do we let you do that? It's because we're not judging your build, we're judging your game. So your game may look aesthetically pleasing and that may support the overall experience, but what is worth the most is the game design, the experience, and the coding that's placed into it. Essentially, we don't want you kind of wasting time doing really big, impressive builds. You need to spend the time on the experience of the game and the coding behind it. Now, just as a pointer, because I've got caught out on this before, if you pick a pre-created world, check first that you have admin rights. So check first that, for example, if you're going to use block coding, that you can actually open the coding platform, and check that you can switch to world builder mode so you have full control. Some worlds are locked down and you can't do that. So very important to check. Moving on to stage 4 is then where you will kind of refine, do your presentation, and finally submit. Now, you are pitching this to Mojang Studios as a new game to publish in Minecraft Education Edition. We provide you with a PowerPoint template that you can use as a starter, and you can edit or change this however you see fit. You can embed up to 2 videos that are no longer than 30 seconds each. However, things like simple screen grabs, pictures, suffice when you need to show us your coding and explain maybe part of the level or a section of your parkour course. So, in saying that, you do also submit the game. However, we don't necessarily play the game. We look at your presentation first. We look at whether or not your presentation, your PowerPoint, has convinced us that your game is worth opening up and playing. After that, we will move into the judging period, and then we will finally announce the winners. So that is it for now. I hope you have an amazing time building out your games. I cannot wait to see what you design. Have fun, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.